Nashville. Welcome back to the NFM Podcast. It is a beautiful day, and we're excited to get some conversation going. Our sponsors for this episode are Body Fit Training, my personal favorite, repping today. Then we got Connection Chiropractic and Nutrition Factory. Thank you to our sponsors. I am here with Tala today.
Hi.
And Kylei and Brad Hopkins. But before we get to them, what's up, Tala? How have you been?
Before we get to them, hello. No, just kidding. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just hanging out. What have you been up to?
Girl, sleeping, eating, repeat.
Same.
Grey's Anatomy. Sleep, eat, Grey's Anatomy, repeat.
Grey's Anatomy already today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
Which
you watch
is weird.
Grey's Anatomy still?
Addicted. No, but not the new stuff. All the old reruns. I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you go back through and watch. It's
And I cry every time someone dies, like as if I didn't know. Yeah.
It's like Gilmore Girls.
I've never seen Gilmore Girls.
Oh, well, you need to watch that because that's one you go back and it's like a comfort show.
Okay.
You just keep watching.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
We already talked to Terry, and we're gonna get what's his name?
Oh, Patrick Dempsey, who plays Derek Shepherd. Yes.
We're gonna get Derek on the show.
Can we do that for real? No. Not likely. Not likely. We'll see, though.
I mean, like I said, I haven't really watched.
I heard Brad knows him.
Do you know Brad?
I have no idea who you're talking about. But if you want to think about it, going back to Grey's Anatomy, I remember when Grey's Anatomy was appointment watching. In other words, you couldn't just go back to the very beginning of an episode and binge watch all day, right? You had to go at 7 o'clock on a Thursday, whenever it came out.
I'm happy our
And that's how you
generation
had to
could
watch
fix
TV.
that for you.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, think about it. Even advertising nowadays for podcasts or for shows that you watch, you can just say, catch the beginning. It doesn't matter where you actually came across the show itself, because you can always go back and just watch the episodes from the very first and catch yourself up in 48 hours.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
This sounds like a great weekend to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is anyone watching White Lotus right now?
The hell is White Lotus?
It's a really big show happening right now. People are watching it, going crazy about it. But if
I've
none
been
of you
seeing
guys have watched it, then there's nothing really to talk about.
I can't watch a show until it's completely done being filmed.
Yeah, because then you get to watch it all at once.
I have to binge watch things.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Actually, that's so funny. The other day, I went home to visit my parents in Knoxville. Shout out, Go Vols. And it was so funny because I actually was like, there's a really great show called Running Point with Kate Hudson that just came out. She took over a basketball team. You've seen it, so good. And I told my parents about it, and I was like, yeah, just, watch a few episodes. And I was like, I'm going to go to bed. I drove from Nashville. I'm really tired. They started around 8 p.m. I woke up at 2 in the morning to go get water. They were still watching it. And they were like, we have to finish it. And I was like, this is unhealthy. But okay.
Well,
They finished it.
that's when you know it's a good one, but it'll probably you got to set boundaries with that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, we have the basket of debate, as always. Can't forget about it. Guys, we're all going to choose a prompt, and then we're going to read our prompt, and then we will all respond to the prompt. Okay, so, Kylei, why don't you start us with choose anyone, mix it up a little bit, and then you can pass the basket around.
Thank you.
It's like church.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We're getting friendly.
Getting
Well, I hope we're
warmed
not
up for
taking-
communion.
No, put
At
some money.
church.
You got to put some money in there.
Oh, I'm going to need a couple dollars. Here, do you want to pass this over to them? Perfect.
Okay, Kylei,
Ladies
you can go
first.
ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. In or out, stretching post-workout?
Oh, okay, you go first, Kylei.
I'm all for it. That was everything to do with my last job. So I'm a big fan of stretching. I absolutely need to do it more. I don't know how technical you want me to get with everything.
How technical can you get? Can we all learn something here?
So
You don't actually have to get technical if you don't want to, but tell us one reason why you would stretch after a workout.
yeah, it's going to help actually create lasting results from the workout that you just did. So if you really want to lock in, stretch after your workout.
Okay. Y'all heard it. If you're not
You heard
stretching
it here first.
if you're not stretching, get to it. I mean, I would say, yeah, for sure.
If you're not stretching, did it even happen? The world may never know.
Yeah. We were just talking about foam rolling before the episode started, and I just got done with a 30-minute foam rolling session, and that is saving me with all my training right now. So just the stretching, the rolling,
Yeah, see, if
Yeah.
my wife catches this, all she talks about is stretching and my flexibility, right? Now, I'll stretch before my workout just so I don't pull anything or try and get my muscles warmed up a little bit before I actually get after it. But when my workout's over, when that last rep is rep, I'm out.
Oh.
You know, I'm out of there. I'm in the parking lot, so I don't usually stretch after.
Honestly, I'm so there with you. I'm like, I didn't even want to be there when I first got there. So I'm definitely like ready to go.
It's
Right,
actually
when it's
better to
over.
stretch post-workout than it is.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all, Kyle. I just don't do it.
Jeez, Mr. Pro Athlete over here.
When it's like Tyler said, when it's time to go, it's time to go.
If Brad Hopkins says he doesn't stretch, we ain't stretching.
Well, I
No, I was
mean,
kidding.
Pre, not post. So.
since we're
okay.
talking about
Post.
it, and Body Fit Training is one of our sponsors today, all you members listening, stay for the cool down because they don't. They're like you. Just warm up, work out, they're out.
Yeah.
So
What's that say at the end of the? What is that you do at the end of like a yoga class? And you just lay there and you're still.
Oh, what do they call that?
Called,
Shavasana.
I thought it was called napping, but either way, I'll do that.
yeah, that one's
That's my
nice.
favorite part.
Yeah.
It's meditation.
Literally. I'll show up for that part only and then I'll leave. Yeah.
All right, Brad, what do you got from the debate?
What I got from the debate. Who has seen Emily in Paris?
Oh,
I'm just totally. I didn't say
what?
Oh my gosh.
We're talking about.
I really believed him too. I was like, let me tell you all about
Did you
it.
put that in there? I'm so impressed. I was about to be like, I was about to fangirl. Okay, sorry.
That's the last show that I've been to watch. So
That one's good.
I'm impressed actually.
The art of looking like you know what you're doing. Have you ever watched YouTube tutorials in the parking lot before going in? What's the best way to recover from an embarrassing gym fail, i.e., tripping on the treadmill? So I guess we'll start with one. Have you ever watched a YouTube tutorial in the parking lot before going in? I'll go first. Absolutely not. I don't watch YouTube tutorials to show me how to do anything anyway. So
Don't need them.
my workout is usually a mashup of the things that I've done when I was playing versus what I can do now in my mid-50s.
Okay.
So I don't go to YouTube to find that combination because I very rarely will find that guy on YouTube. So I would say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably have YouTubed some stuff for sure. But nowadays my YouTubing or like just Googling looks like I need a type of exercise or I want to get creative. And so I Google, okay, what to do for my adductors, something like that. Or how to get creative with the minimal equipment. So a little different than that, but yeah, definitely YouTubing some stuff nowadays.
That's the OG.
What'd you say?
That's the OG.
Yeah.
I'll go to
There's
YouTube
something
for
for
anything.
everything.
If I can't find like how to even like pop the hood in my car.
Oh, no.
How do you on this make and model? That's me.
I've taken apart
Yeah.
the front end of a Jeep Grand Cherokee on YouTube, so I understand how you can actually. I'm not even kidding. I actually have done that. Going to replace some fog lights, but either way, I've actually used YouTube, just not for my workout. Kylie, what about you?
Okay.
No, I will FaceTime my younger sister who was seriously into fitness and now she's a kinesiology major at school. So I'll be like, hey, tell me what to do and I will just listen to you.
We got to phone a friend over here.
Yeah.
You know why we don't even need
Yeah,
YouTube.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've probably done that with my husband. Or been like, okay, what is this I'm supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that
Like
in the
you know
grocery
so
store.
much more than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to read your question?
Oh, yeah. I'm next.
I'm
Let's see.
so excited.
I know. I get so excited to see what's on these things. Okay. Protein shake experiments gone wrong is the headline. Ooh. What's the strangest thing you've ever put in a smoothie? Strangest thing? Brad is already.
Why get creative with a protein shake, man? Just
He's like, it's just,
I just
you haven't lived yet,
salmon in there or
Brad.
something,
Oh, there's this thing. Okay. My husband, he was trying on a smoothie and he put psyllium husk. Is that how
What?
you say that?
Yeah, you said right.
Yes. Psyllium husk.
Really?
Because he went to the doctor and the doctor has told him he has high cholesterol the past few times he's gone. And apparently psyllium husk is supposed to help lower bad cholesterol. So he got on this smoothie kick, and he was like, I'm just going to throw it in a smoothie. And I haven't really used psyllium husk much enough to warn him, but it made it really, really weird texture, and it was really gross. So we pretty much wasted like a big bag of psyllium husk, and it's not cheap. I don't think it was cheap, at least. So that was kind of weird. What about you?
I kind of have you beat.
Okay, go.
I want to hear this.
It's going to be eggs.
No. I have a friend who understands that there are a lot of healing properties in placenta.
Oh.
And I've tried that.
Ew.
I've tried. It's not like
Well,
I didn't
shouldn't say
actually
that.
like.
I
I
shouldn't
didn't
say ew, I'm sorry.
What girl? Whatever.
Well, like,
but to
for
me
you
though,
listeners, like, I know it's got the benefits.
it's got the benefits, but you got to really be on board with it. But I only just took a sip. It wasn't like I was genuinely carrying it out and about with me, and it was just a sip, and we were at her house. But I do remember that clear as
Was
day.
it her placenta?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I
Y'all
actually
must be so
trusted it
close.
more because it was hers. Because I knew her. I was like, "You're clean."
Yeah, one of my clients is doing all the natural things for her daughter who's about to have a baby, and she was like, "That's the one thing I'm not doing."
But now that I'm
smoothies.
now that I'm hearing it, I'm thinking about Brad, and it's like, why are we messing with protein shakes right now? And now I'm thinking about it and over, and I'm like, why did we even do that?
Because it's so easy to get it in. If you just put it in a smoothie or put it in a drink, you can just like
Well, the
down
thing
it.
is, we should talk to someone that's actually not that far removed from having the placenta.
Okay,
Kylie.
look, I am pretty crunchy as a mom, but that's a no-no for me.
Crunchy.
Okay.
What do you mean, like granola?
Yeah,
I love
it's called
that.
crunchy, or so I'm technically in the middle, so it's scrunchy.
Stop.
That's a good one.
I love
like
that.
It. Well, how do you
Okay.
feel about it?
I did not see enough benefit in eating or doing anything with my placenta, so that was a no for me.
Were you given the option to keep it?
At that point, I had already decided that I didn't want to. However, my mother was in the room with me, and she definitely asked if she could see it afterwards. Like, she was very interested in all things birthing and
Okay.
all that stuff. I was like, yeah, no, that's all you, woman. Go ahead.
So would you think it's strange if your mom took your placenta and then put it in her protein shake?
And also made
I
a
don't
profit
know
off
if
of
I would
it?
have ever been able to look my mother in the eyes again if she had put my
There you go.
placenta in her protein shake.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have bonded you guys next level. I mean, you were bonded.
Not in the way I think
when
I
you were in
wanted
her
to be.
Tummy, you were bonded.
Yeah.
but-
No, I'm like, me and my best friend, we were really close, but now it's like an unbreakable bond.
yeah. It has to be.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever want to be that close with somebody.
It's a fun thing to try because it makes for a great podcast topic.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
That's why we do the crazy things we do in our lives. But yeah,
Brad.
he went.
Oh, you did?
Even
Well,
if I didn't,
you just
I'd
said
say,
you're not
you know,
going to put anything gross.
You're not going to.
anything abnormal. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go, what'd you say, seal lamb? What?
Psyllium husk.
Psyllium husk. What is a psyllium and does it have a husk?
No, I mean,
And does it have a
it's like
husk?
it looks like flaxseed, ground flaxseed. That's what it looks like, but I don't really know.
Not a chance.
I'm not sure.
Please, Kylie, bring us back to center. Peanut butter, chocolate, what?
Yeah.
Something normal.
I've never put anything weird in a protein shake.
Exactly. It's not necessary. You don't have to get creative with
Or a
protein shake,
smoothie,
man. It's
for
just,
that
it just
matter.
provide what?
I mean, look,
protein.
Exactly.
In my opinion, banana's weird enough for me. I don't like it in my smoothies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I can eat it on my own, but
Banana is-
it has a weird taste in smoothies.
Okay.
Well, who hasn't gone?
Me.
All right,
All right.
last one.
Fitness influencers, motivation or madness. Are their workouts insane or are we just weak? And have you ever tried a crazy fitness challenge just because you saw it on Instagram? Yes. Let me even just tell you how psychotic I was one time. 9/11. Wonderful first responders, saved hundreds of lives that day. In order to do it, they had to obviously in the World Trade Center, the elevators were not working. They had to climb to the top of those floors. Do you even know?
Here.
I don't even remember how many floors it was exactly or how many steps. It was like 30,000 steps. It was a lot of steps. And you can do like a challenge to on 9/11 to just show appreciation and shout out your first responders, especially on that day. And I was on the Stairmaster for about 5 minutes and left the gym. And I'm very ashamed to say that because I was there with like the best of intentions, but also I also think it was really weird of me to think that I could do that with like absolutely no training beforehand.
Like it was,
like
you were trying to walk the amount of floors, right?
I was trying
like
to do
that's
it.
What the challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That
you
is
didn't
a
have
lot.
any equipment on either. Like
No, and you actually,
Exactly.
that's actually the real way to
Brad's
do
calling
it
it
is to have, he's like, yeah, go home.
And there wasn't even fire, Tala, so.
I know, it's so
not
bad.
dealing with smoke. Stuff.
But I'd like to think that just the thought of it was really nice of me, but that's fine, whatever. But that's what I did. And then I guess fitness influencers, they're crazy workouts. I've never seen anything crazy, but the 330, what was it, the 12-330? Do you know the 12-330?
No.
Is that where everything's in that bottle, like the
So-
glass bottle of water, and he?
No.
Okay.
So I love the enthusiasm though, Kylie. Let me tell you, the 12-330, you are on an incline on a treadmill for 12, like an incline of 12. You are going at a speed of 3 and you're doing it for 30 minutes. And you're supposed to shed weight, like you are dropping weight like so quick. And there is a girl that actually, which my fiance dies hearing this, she actually like trademarked the 12-330. He was like, how do you trademark an exercise? And I was like, it's possible. So actually there's a fitness influencer out there that literally trademarked that.
That's cool.
I tried it.
How was it?
Hard. And that's why it works.
But you didn't leave.
No, I didn't leave.
And there was
one
no
for
smoke.
me. No smoke,
no
no
turtle
weights.
gear.
I actually did it. And I see results.
Nice.
So
Good job.
Kylie.
I've never done any kind of workout that I would consider crazy by any means. I can't think of anything like super crazy workout wise I've seen with fitness influencers. I think their whole like the videos that are shot sometimes are just a little wild in that idea. So what I thought you were talking about was this one influencer, and this has been like going viral lately, that will take this glass bottle of water and like dump it into a bowl and put his face in that, and it's like a bunch of random stuff.
It's like cold water, right?
I don't know.
Wakes
It
you
just
right
comes
up.
in a glass bottle every time. I'm like, why would you spend so much
aesthetic.
on water
Wait.
to put your
he's
face
a
in
fitness
it?
model, and he puts the
Yes. Okay, so you've seen it.
I mean, a super good looking dude. Also, it shows him getting into
the water.
It shows him getting into like his Bentley and going out to eat lunch and just
I didn't
his
see that
start of his
video.
day. So he does that. He uses bottled water. He like only uses like Evian or something to like wash his face. Like most of us use tap water. Right?
Yep.
But this guy, he brushes his teeth with like Fiji
Yeah, he used the
water.
banana.
That's
peel
hilarious.
All on his face. It was weird.
I mean, I dig it. See, but that's where I'm going with the whole thing. You don't see an influencer just do regular stuff, right? Like we're going to do some push-ups. Let's just do some pull-ups. Let's do something that we normally. You have to do something to get the audience's attention, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to create something that's weird. Like I saw this guy. He had like, I swear he had like 345 on the bench, right? He benches it, sits up with it, walks over to the squat rack, puts it. Excuse me, the incline, and then does about 5 more.
On the incline.
Yeah,
On the incline.
So it's a feat of strength type deal that obviously got my attention because I watched him do it.
Has he ever heard of supersetting?
Yeah,
Could
but
he
this is,
not just
but
do
this is
a
more
set-
fun this way.
Right.
You,
It catches
how many
people's
times have you ever
attention.
seen
Abby's
a guy
like,
with
let me introduce him to
345
supersetting.
pounds, bench press 345 and then sit up from the bench and then walk off with it? That's crazy.
Was this just trying to be like for the video? Like it had nothing to do with.
Well, duh.
Okay.
I mean, why would you do, if there was nobody in the gym or nobody saw him do it, would you do that?
No. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I do that, if I'm trying to get
Interesting.
people's attention, or if I'm trying to get them to watch my video, I'm going to show you first off how extremely strong I am, and you're probably not going to be able to do this, or you'll kill yourself trying to do it.
Probably.
I think most people would rephrase that question and say,
Well, it's not a deterrent, you know?
well, they would say, instead of,
It's not just workout based. It's just like the craziest thing you've seen an influencer do.
I mean, this guy has people looking around. He has people watching him do his workout.
Yeah.
And he's jacked. I mean, of course, he's just ripped beyond belief, right?
yeah.
And to actually see him do even one rep with that much weight on it and then sit up from the bench to do that, and then walk off from the bench to go do another set while he has this. Matter of fact, the same guy had 315 on his shoulders, right? Like he was squatting it. From the parking lot as he walked into a Planet Fitness.
Stop.
With the 315 on his shoulders. Of course, they all knew who he was because he's a pretty well-known influencer, and he wasn't allowed to work out there. But he walks into the gym with 315 already on his back. People look at him like, this dude's crazy.
And we're talking about him, which proves that he got exactly what he wanted out of this. So props to him, I guess.
Full circle, what do influencers do? What kind of stuff like, obviously it's all for attention.
Yeah.
Or to make money.
And I guarantee you with the number of people that watch that, there's definitely some metrics that said, hey, look, we'll put an ad into your stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't mad
I'm going
about
to go with the motivation versus madness.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think, the ones that I watch, motivation for sure. I've been watching Lucy Davis, Luke Hopkins, keeping up with them, big hybrid athletes, because I'm about to do the High Rocks race, so I'm just keeping up with them, and it's motivating me. I'm like ready to do a session every time I watch one of their videos. Then I love just like a vlog of like lifestyle, like the food, the healthy food, the exercise, the bedtime routine. Love watching that before bed. I feel like it gives me good ideas. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that for motivation with the influencers.
Yeah.
But I don't really keep up with any of those crazy ones. So I don't think that would motivate me to do bench and then incline and the same. When he carries it to the incline, how's he rack it? Like, does he hold it like
this?
this?
It's just on his chest. I mean, he's like, first off,
like
he does a rep. He's got a, actually he brings it.
Does he keep it out?
He does a rep, brings it down to his chest, then sits up. And with it on his chest, he just walks over to the incline, and he sits down, and he does about 5 more reps, racks it, and then, of course, everybody's like, it's like amazing.
He got what he want. How about we do it this time and no one looks at him, and let's see if he keeps it up.
I think we should try it.
We actually should try it.
Yeah, we should see how that happens.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay,
All
guys, that was a great basket of debate. Loved that. So, tell us why you're here. Tell us a little bit about the Davis House charity.
Yeah, so I work at Davis House Child Advocacy Center. I'm the executive assistant there, and Brad here is on our board. And so we work with children and families in Williamson County. All of the children that we see have experienced either sexual abuse or severe physical abuse. So we offer them services like forensic interviews, where they can share their story just one time in a child-friendly, comfortable environment. We ask those questions in a very non-leading way so that it is truly their story, and that's it. Then we have child and family advocates, and so they're going to work with the non-offending caregivers to offer support throughout this entire process, because while, of course, it's traumatizing for the child, imagine your own kid going through something like that. Like, the parents need support there too, and that's going to extend just past that legal process. Like, they can call us up whenever, and somebody's going to be there to talk to them, to hold their hand through the entire thing.
Yeah.
Then we've got therapy services, and so that's trauma-informed therapy. Every child that receives a forensic interview is offered that, and that is going to be at no cost to the families as well. So they're saving, I think we had done the math, and it was around 9 or 10K a year on services.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we've got community prevention and outreach. So our mission is to not only help the children and families when abuse occurs, but also to try and prevent it. So we go into schools, daycares, churches, anywhere that will have us, really, and talk about how to recognize and report the signs of abuse, because in the state of Tennessee, every adult is a mandated reporter, but not a lot of people really know what that means.
Yeah.
So that's a bit about just what we do. And we also work hand in hand with local law enforcement, DCS, district attorney's office, and then we work with Our Kids, which provides free medical services to the children as well. And so all of that is called the Child Protective Investigative Team, or CPIT, and we meet twice a month to go over cases. There's typically about 30 cases each time that we meet that we're working on.
Wow.
I was going to ask where most of your kids come from. Like, do you work with schools, hospitals? I was a teacher before, so this was like a really relevant topic with working with kids.
Yeah.
And we obviously had a social worker. So how do you said you work with DCS?
Yes, so all of our reports come from DCS or local police departments.
Okay.
But a lot of times, yes, you will get teachers that made that initial report to DCS or law enforcement, and then it comes to us. But it's so important for teachers especially to understand that, because half the time, I mean, in all honesty, you're seeing these kids more than their families get to. It's just the way the world works. So, yeah, and there's actually a law in place called Aaron's Law, which mandates that every public school should offer trainings on child abuse to both staff and students. And that should be an annual training, K through 12.
Wow. And we were talking earlier about, obviously, like, this is the line of work that you're in can be so heavy. I mean, it's not a pretty subject. Take me through your background on how you're so equipped to handle this. And
so I myself do not actually do the forensic interviews or the advocacy. However, I got involved with Davis House because my mother was on staff there for several years. So I grew up knowing about Davis House, and she was a forensic interviewer. So it was really kind of watching her and having her come home and tell me. She can't, really tell me any of the stories because obviously confidentiality. Right. But
just like sharing what kids are going through,
what
like
kids are going through, and then if you see anything in the news about a child that's from Williamson County, it's gone through abuse or anything like that, they were interviewed at Davis House. Like that's all through us. So while I don't actually have the degree that would allow me to do that role, I can still support our staff that does.
Gotcha.
So I get to come out and do fun things like this, or I talk to you guys and try and help raise money and awareness, because only about 20% of our funding comes from state and federal grants, and none of those even cover therapy services, but we refuse to not offer those because mental health is so important. And, I just hate to see what it looked like if Williamson County didn't have this in place.
Yeah,
the programs and things that Davis House is associated with, that's very public-facing, like the run that we're going to talk about today, or the event called Hats and Horses that we're going to have in Spring Hill, or, like our shirt says, Button Ball, which is going to be in September. It's bringing about awareness and prevention for child abuse, right? So behind the curtain, though, is the reason why I got involved. 90% of the cases that do happen in Williamson County go unreported. So when you talk about a lack of resources for these children to find an outlet, to find safety, that's one of the reasons why we do the things that we do. So that way it does bring about awareness, gets people thinking about, hey, you know what, it can happen in your backyard and in your community. No matter how influent you might think your neighborhood is, every family is going through something in some way or another. And if it's at the unfortunately, if a child is suffering for that, there needs to be an outlet. There needs to be people around that are safe people for the children to then be able to engage and then find the kind of resources that they would need to get them the help that they would need. So while we do cool things like doing podcasts and hosting a lot of programs that bring about funding for our programs and things of that nature, you got to think about what's really going on behind the scenes where a kid is actually needing help. And just that fact in itself should be a call to action for people that are actually finding out what it is that Davis House does. Davis House isn't a house per se that actually houses children that are going through abuse and situations like that, but it is a connection, a collaboration with local government, with police officials, with all the things that are there to protect kids. So it just shows you the layers that Davis House is trying to collaborate and connect with to make sure that we all are aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I got involved.
Speaking of awareness, do y'all have some of the numbers, like some of the statistics?
Sure.
A lot of people don't know that it is so common.
So 1 in 7 children will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday.
Wow.
Like he said, only 90% of those cases are ever going to be reported. And 12% of these victims know their abuser. So most of the time, it's not a stranger.
Yeah, it's a family member a lot of times.
I just messed those numbers up, didn't I?
We
Thank you.
Hold
on. Yeah, sorry.
Brad knows.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. 12% of cases are reported.
Okay.
And then 90% of victims know their abuser. So it's not strangers. It's not going to be that creepy guy in a white van that, we're kind of told stories about when we're young.
Yeah.
Those aren't the people to watch out for. People that are going to do this, they get close to your family, not just the kid. They want the parents to trust them. They want you to trust them. They're going to build that relationship so that they can get away with whatever they want. And so that's why the trainings that we offer are so important too, because you just don't want to expect that of your neighbors, your family, your friends.
Yeah.
You would think that no one would ever want to harm our most innocent, our most vulnerable, our children.
Yeah, and being aware is probably one of the most effective ways we can prevent it. And April is Awareness Month.
Yes,
so
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month.
I want to get into that. We're going to have a break, and I know you guys are doing events and a lot of things to raise awareness. So we're going to take a little break, and then we'll talk more about all that.
Welcome back to the NFM Podcast. We are continuing our conversation with two people from the Davis house. We're talking to Brad Hopkins and Kylei Fuller. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking around with us. This is definitely a very important conversation that we're having, and Abby and I are learning so much about it, honestly, and we were just talking during the break, but there are so many ways people are going to be able to get involved before we talk about those things. So let's talk about the history of the Davis house first. I mean, here in Williamson County, it sounds like it probably has a lot of history tied to it. Take me through that.
Yeah, so this year actually marks our 25th anniversary. So we saw our first child in September of 2000. But before that, the original task force was formed in 1999, and this was all founded by Ron Davis. So you can kind of see, Davis House, Ron Davis. After he passed away, we did rename the Child Advocacy Center in his honor. But he was a district attorney here in Williamson County and had seen the struggles of just children that were coming through the doors, because similar to like Law and Order, any one of those crime shows, that's how kids were being interviewed, and it just wasn't healthy. Most of the time it re-traumatized them. So with the help of Amy Baines, who was the original executive director, they came together to form Davis House, and she shared with me the story of what actually motivated her, one specific case, and she had interviewed this little boy who had been abused by, I believe it was a family member of his. And after the interview, he looked at her and he said, "Are you going to arrest me now?" She was like, "No, I just made this so much worse for him. I thought I was helping, and he's even more terrified than when he walked in the door." So they got together, started planning, tried to figure out how we could get a CAC here. So at the time that we opened, we actually shared an office space with another nonprofit organization. Fast forward 25 years, we have our own building that we officially own for the first time ever in the history of Davis House. And we have things like a sensory room so that our kids can come in and they can regulate their emotions if they need to rock, or we have a sequin wall if they want to run their hands along it and kind of get calm that way. There's a teepee for them to go hide in if they just need a second to themselves where they can be alone and feel comforted. Lots of other things in there.
I was looking at y'all's Instagram page, and one of the quotes I saw on one of the posts really hit me, and it was saying, if we ask children to tell, we can't let them down if they do. And man, that just hit like, wow, what kind of difference can it make for a child, depending on the person they tell's response?
Yeah, so we actually do have one child that was seen at Davis House who is now an adult, and she shares her story a lot, so I'll kind of get into that a little bit. Her name is Becca, and when she was 11 years old, she was assaulted by her gymnastics coach. And so she went through services at Davis House, and it was a really rough time for her and her family. She hadn't shared anything with them, but she had been acting off and didn't want to go to gymnastics lately, and she had been competing at a very high level before this. So her mom just asked her, is your coach touching you? And she broke down. So they filed the report, came to Davis House, and throughout that process, she was actually given the strength to testify in court against her abuser, which got him put behind bars. And it also helped to lead to this whole national case. I don't know if y'all were ever aware of it, but on U.S. gymnastics as a whole, because this had happened with a lot of other coaches where they were bouncing around from gym to gym after these allegations were coming up rather than ever getting punished. So she kind of got to kickstart that, and she ended up donating some of the proceeds that she won from that back to Davis House. But now she is married. She is doing very successful in her career as an adult. She still comes into Davis House and continues to advocate for anyone that's gone through a similar experience. And I think it's incredible to see how much she has grown, and that she's still able to live a very healthy life at this point. Without this, you see a lot of cases where another woman shared with me she never had Davis House or anything like that. Nobody ever believed her. And she ended up suffering through addiction for a little over 30 years. So, I mean, you know, we talk a lot about what it is when you don't have Davis House, but I appreciate that you actually asked what it can look like when someone does receive those services.
Yeah.
And kind of going into that too, it can be difficult for a child coming in, because we can't say to them, you know, hey, we just saw your friend, like, it's okay, they talked to us. Obviously confidentiality purposes won't allow us to do that. So we have a button jar, and on our button jars it says, you are not alone. And every single button in that button jar represents an actual child that's come through our doors. One of our staff members has a friend who came in when she was a child at Davis House, and she had told her that she picked out a black button, all black, because she felt like this heavy hole that was weighing on her was getting lifted off, and she could just place it in the button jar and be done with it. Well, so, yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
In that specific story you shared, the mom asked the child.
She did.
One of the myths that I've heard is that the kids will tell. If something's happening, the kids will tell you. But that's actually not true most of the time, right?
So a lot of times kids are being told that they need to keep it a secret. This is a secret. This is just between us. And so one thing that we try to teach is secrets are not okay. Surprises are, but we need to understand the difference between those. And then I think a lot of times for older teenagers, but, you know, I can't speak for everyone across the board, it's that they don't always want to weigh on their parents. They don't want this burden placed on them. They feel like they must have done something wrong, something to encourage that kind of behavior. It's their fault, but it never is, regardless of the situation. It is never the child's fault. But I think so much of that guilt and shame just keeps them from wanting to be like, hey, this thing happened and I really need to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I can feel so many people like even just listening right now being like, I need to get involved because it really pulls at you and it really just brings up so much. And we were just talking about, I mean, addiction. If Davis House or people like that do not get in time, it will cause catastrophic problems probably for the rest of that child's life into their adult life as well. I want to bring Brad back into the conversation. You know, you've had an amazing career being with the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans for over a decade, and even saw your own Super Bowl. But now this is what you're doing in your own community. I want to know, obviously, you know, the obvious question is what was it that said I have to be involved in something like this?
Well, I would actually credit my relationship with Davis House to our board chair, Micah Berg. He's done a phenomenal job of resurrecting what Davis House is today and to make it more visible with giving us an actual roof, you know, and some of the things that allow us to be more effective when it comes to dealing with kids in the cases, like the sensory room, like we were talking about, just really tailoring the experience that a child would have to being able to make sure the children understand that they're in a place of support and safety, right? While they're doing these interviews, the family's not that far away. You know, the most trusted members to this person, right? And there was even an instance where our executive director, Carolyn, shared with me that a child sometimes can even have a string attached to themselves and say a mom or a dad or someone that's down the hall because they can't be in the interviewing process with the child, right? And if they feel unsafe, just tug on that string.
Oh, wow.
You know, so that way they're reconnected with the people that they love the most, right? Just letting them know that they're not that far away.
Yeah.
Well, that is the whole premise behind this center itself, is to be able to provide that string that you can tug on, and then there's help that arrives. I think it's also important to define an interviewer versus an investigator. You know, an investigator is dealing with obviously a crime, something that's going on that needs to be dealt with, sometimes criminally, right? But when you're talking about a forensic interviewer, that's someone that's trying to basically get as much information as they possibly can. And how hard is that to extract from a child that is obviously breaking the trust that he has with the perpetrator and also the people that are around him, right? Because that's what perpetrators do, right? They try and get that trust, establish that bond. And then it's harder for a kid to communicate what's actually going on wrong with them because they don't want to somehow, you know, break that trust that they've established in the wrong person, you know? So for me, you know, playing in the NFL, using our platform to be able to bring about attention to missions and nonprofit work and things like that. It's part of it, right? I was used to going to schools and reading books to elementary kids and talking about, you know, life after football for those that wanted to be athletes and doing all the things that, you know, using your visibility is supposed to be able to attract, right? It's the same thing here. You know, we're now trying to raise money. We're now trying to raise awareness for the programs and the things that are important to the mission of Davis House. And if I can use, you know, whatever celebrity that I still have in my mid-50s, you know, to just at least engage people in the community about an issue, you know, trying to make our community as safe as we like to think it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's the important part. So that's why it was a very easy decision for me to make, to say, hey, look, you know, I'm going to lend whatever experience I can, whatever resources I can to Davis House and make sure that it's successful.
Yeah. We're so grateful for Davis House and you guys. We need people like you who are so passionate about this and to spread the awareness. And yeah, as you're talking, I was just thinking about my experience in teaching and just how each child is different and intervention is so important. And whether that's education, and so much of it wasn't education, it was intervening as a trustworthy person in a child's life. And even, you know, being with a child for a whole school year, they still might not get to the place where they trust you enough to talk to you.
Right.
And you have to be so gentle and so strategic and just the ways, because you don't know, like, with experiences they're going through, and you don't know the trauma they have and how they were able to receive what you give. So I love that part of what you guys have with what you call it, the forensic interviewer, not investigator. Interviewer. Yeah.
You say forensic investigator, and you're thinking just like what Kylei was sharing in the story. Am I getting arrested now?
Yeah.
Because this is an investigator. No, it's an interviewer.
And if that child's norm is getting in trouble, then they will assume probably they're going to be in trouble for something because there's something wrong with what's been happening.
Yeah. And Kylei, you've talked a little bit about some of the signs that you could maybe see if there is something going on potentially in a child's life. And Abby, I'm wondering if you've ever noticed any signs as being a school teacher for 4 years. First and foremost, Kylei, what would be some signs that people need to watch out for?
So sudden changes in behavior may indicate that something's going on. Obviously, then you have the more physical signs, bruising, cuts, scrapes, those types of things. But typically it is a lot more just mentally and emotionally. They're withdrawn. They might not be doing as well in their schoolwork anymore. They were very social before. They no longer are. They are acting out, showing aggressive behaviors even. And in some cases, you do have where whatever behaviors have been done to them are then being done to others, even if that is of a more sexual nature. And that's truly just because they don't understand what is and isn't okay.
Right. Yeah, you would be surprised to things that you see and hear from first graders, and that's because that's what they've seen and heard.
Did you feel like you had proper training as a teacher to recognize these signs, or is this like a great refresher that every teacher probably needs?
That is teaching. This isn't about teaching, but it's a very complex job. And no, I didn't. No, I didn't feel prepared. But I don't think it was the administration or even the school. We were actually a trauma-informed school. And we were a PBIS school, so we had done all the training, and I was a leader in the trauma-informed. I would go and do it myself and then train the other teachers. And even like being a leader in it, I think you just can't prepare fully to handle emotions and real life situations that kids go through. And then also try to teach them how to read.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like, I just think it's a job that's almost impossible, but we all do the best we can, you know?
Yeah. And let's talk about the community and how they can do the best that they can as well. You guys, we are NFM. We are all about being fit, despite what my scale says. And we are so excited because you guys have a really awesome event coming up that the community can get involved in. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we are actually doing our first ever Davis House Dash this year. So it's a 5K and a family fun run. The family fun run is just 1 mile. If you're not a runner, walk it. It's totally fine. I am not a runner myself. I will be the first to admit that. So just walk it. It's going to be at the park at Harlansdale Farms. So it's a cross-country type race. We're going to have some vendors, a lot of local businesses showing up, a kids fun zone, and our buddies over at Crusaders for Children are going to be there with their motorcycles. So if you want to check those out, please come. Got some food trucks, lots of games. There will be a DJ, so we can all dance, listen to some great music. We're going to have awards for our top 3 male and female finishers in the 5K. The awards look amazing. Have you gotten to see them yet?
No, I haven't.
I need to show you.
Can you tell us?
I need one in my house. So we actually have like a tennis shoe that's got like buttons printed all in it. And so that's going to be on the top of the trophy. And then buttons all along the side of it.
Love that.
I'm excited. And everybody's going to get a medal anyway because, you know, we all love a participation medal nowadays. And those are our buttons. You can kind of see on his shirt. But we have a second smaller button to show that, you know, we take care of this group. And it's all together. But yeah, so those are going to be our medals. And then there's T-shirts for everybody that participates too. And of course, NFM is an amazing sponsor of the Davis House Dash. So Their logo will be on there. Check it out.
Awesome.
Collaboration at its finest.
Excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put the logo on my golf cart because that's what I'm going to do, the 5K in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Totally kidding.
I
He's
call
gonna
shotgun.
be in first place too.
Yeah. Oh, trust
Plan
me,
on
I'm
getting
going
those
to
button
win.
tennis shoes.
Mowing down.
I love
So
it.
we do have a lot of ways that you can get involved with the Dash. You can sign up. Go ahead, register your significant other, your children, your grandparents, everybody. Make them come out or just cheer them on. You know,
Make
that's
them.
okay too. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure that I've told my husband and my father-in-law that they are both running, but I myself will not. I will cheer them on from the sidelines, however.
There you go.
So we've got that. There's a lot of different volunteer opportunities. You can email me to learn more about those. We're going to have people handing out waters, helping to manage the vendor areas, keep track of everyone as they're running the trail to make sure that they're staying on course. Yeah, and then you can always just donate too, honestly.
Sure.
Like I said before, Davis House only receives 20% of their funding through state and federal grants. It just doesn't cover all of our needs, unfortunately. So any amount that you can give would be so appreciated.
Yeah, I couldn't even add any more to it. You covered all the bases. If you've got it within your heart, obviously, to actively participate, whether it's, get your tennis shoes on and come on down and get into the 5K, or you can hang out like me with the golf cart and stuff your face with a food truck. But either way, any way that you can get involved, it'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
We're the volunteer state.
Exactly.
And
Thank you.
it's good for heart health.
Exactly.
There is no reason that you should not be at this event.
If you are a Tennessean, you should be there.
Yeah, so it's Saturday, May 17th. The race is going to start at 8:30. Awards are at 9:15, and then we're going to do the 1 mile fun run at 9:30. But our vendors and our food trucks and all of our fun stuff is going to be there from like 7:30 to 11:30. So come hang out, have a good time, learn more about Davis House, and
I'm
show
so
up,
excited.
Show out.
So you only giving 45 minutes for the run? Are you kidding me? If I was in this thing, I need at least an hour and a half. You're talking about
I need a
8:30
day.
to 9:15 for the awards?
Cut off.
I think, geez, Louise,
We'll
I need
pick you up if
at
you're
least
not
10 o'clock
finished
before you give
in
the
the golf
awards if I
cart.
want to be running in this thing.
We're going to have to do
Can't
some
run a 5K in
adjusting.
under an hour.
Absolutely. Absolutely
Oh,
not.
Jeez.
Absolutely not.
Well, unlike Brad, I plan on hopefully running, and I think we'll have a booth too. So I'm super excited to see you guys
Yes, yeah. And,
How-
maybe you're involved in a local business and you guys want to get your name out there.
Oh.
We still have sponsorship opportunities available. You can get a booth, so you're supporting Davis House and you're getting to engage with the community. Win-win.
I like it.
there. Community supporting community. How can people sign up for this 5K? Where do they go?
Absolutely. You can go to our website, davisHouseCAC.org, and under our events, we have Davis House Dash 2025. So that's going to have information on how to register, where everything's happening, and that sponsorship information that I had mentioned. You can always just contact me directly if you have any questions. My email is kfuller, Fuller, at davisHouseCAC.org.
Amazing.
She made it easy for us.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
I love it.
Amazing. So glad to have you guys, and thank you so much for sharing such an important topic. And anybody, Tala, you got anything else to add?
It's a beautiful day to save lives. That's what I have to add. Because we're doing it. We're circling it back.
Yeah.
Look at that. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
let that one,
Die.
yeah, that
Never.
one's going to stay alive. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. And you can find us, NFM Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the platforms. So give us a follow, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.